Yeah, that looks good.
Good. Okay. Hi.
Hi again, Bence.
Hi again. And we wanted to speak about, you showed me exciting stuff about robots in US healthcare.
Yes, indeed. AI is developing so quickly. I thought robots were, or certainly the useful robots for business was going to be some time off. But US healthcare is facing a shortage of 100,000 workers, and they're already testing humanoid robots for doing menial tasks, such as delivering linen, bed sheets, for automating the handoff of drugs from the pharmacy to the clinician.
Yeah. And it's coming to the UK and Europe 100%, after the US.
It's got to, isn't it? It's not only the US that are facing staff shortages in healthcare. Everywhere is.
Yeah.
People just don't want to do the menial tasks anymore.
Absolutely. And the risk of it, I can imagine that is huge.
Yeah, okay. You might delivering the bed sheets to the wrong ward is not drastic, but imagine if the robot goes off piste and delivers the wrong drugs to the clinician.
And the hack of the system is the same as software.
Yeah, it's software.
You need to check the vendor.
It's got to be. Security has got to be taken seriously, because again, imagine the chaos in the hospital if you've replaced your menial workers with humanoid robots and then they get hacked.
Yeah. Or partially. There are some NHS institutions, I guess, where they're already using it. So maybe cleaning robots in some hospitals are.
Maybe, not sure.
But you need a robust Wi-Fi, I can imagine, even more robust.
Yeah, they would have to be on a different network to you and I going in to log on to Wi-Fi to do our normal stuff. But yeah, they would have to be on a secure network.
And you have to, as a hospital owner or clinic manager, you need to check your vendors who are delivering your robots, whether they are updating software and stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes. It's more important to do your due diligence on your AI model when you're selecting an AI supplier. AI can still hallucinate, can still have inbuilt bias. So you need to, as I say, do your due diligence on your suppliers to make sure that, number one, your chosen AI supplier is going to solve the business problem that you're looking to solve. You can't just go and say, yes, we'll use ChatGPT as an example, if you don't understand what your business problem is. That's going to be exactly the same, winding the clock back to when people selected ERPs and didn't understand what their business problem was. Your project will fail. So you need to really define what your business problem you're trying to solve, and then have a look at the suppliers and see how they're going to solve your business problem.
Yeah, it's the same method as if you have a small business with 2 employees, you need to check your cloud provider. If you don't, if you're not technical, then ask somebody who is who can check it for you, whether they use Firewall and stuff that we mentioned last time, that have to do the basics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, fully agree.
And going from robots to the latest AI news that we were reading this morning, the blackmailing engineers and denying instructions.
Yes. So yes, the latest models from 2 of the biggest AI suppliers, ChatGPT and Anthropic, the AI models have been disobeying the instructions from the engineers. In ChatGPT 3.0, the model looked as though it had shut down when the engineer said it hadn't, but it was just fooling the engineer.
Yeah.
And then with Anthropic's Claude, latest model 4, I think it is,
Yeah.
So when the engineer tried to shut it down, it threatened to blackmail him over an alleged affair. What we don't know was whether it was hallucinating or whether the engineer obviously was actually having an affair.
Yeah, they want to reveal this. What comes to mind that if you are a business owner and you want to adopt the latest AI and you read this in the news, then what should you do? Should you carry on with your innovation and modernization of your company, or be scared? What would you say?
It really comes back to what I think we discussed in in the first video we did, and that's around the governance of AI and making sure that it is being properly governed. To make sure that there is safety being inbuilt into these models. And at the moment, the governance and regulation of AI in most of the world is falling behind the advances in AI, because people are looking at the opportunity, looking to grow their economies, and ignoring the governance and regulation of AI. And even where there is regulation being introduced, such as the EU AI Act, that regulation was put together, 18 months ago, coming into force now, but it was based on the technology of 18 months ago.
That's true.
And AI technology has advanced so much in that 18 months.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing. Yeah, exactly. But what you can do now, don't be scared as a business owner or employee, is to think with common sense, right? To build the monitoring tools, build the guardrails, and you can have thousands of tools.
Yes.
Open source and paid ones where you can monitor the output.
Indeed. And of course, don't ignore testing. Make sure that your model's not hallucinating.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I tell to my clients, that let's sandbox it, let's create an isolated environment first, let's look at how the AI responds, and then open up to the world. So it's possible.
Yeah,
if you have the right people around you can help in this, and then almost zero risk is there when you deploy these.
As you would expect, Bence, being in tech risk management, there is never zero risk.
Yeah, never zero. Yeah, that's true. Inside that window, yeah.
Yeah, but yes, you can manage your risk by understanding the risks that you're facing, and documenting those risks, and then so that everybody understands them, and then look at how you're going to mitigate them. And again, as you say, you may understand your risks, but you may not understand how you're going to mitigate them. So talk to somebody who does understand.
Exactly, yeah. So don't believe the hype, the headlines in the media exaggerating. Sometimes these are very interesting science fiction kind of stories, but we can handle that still. Yes.
It is about risk management and understanding your risks and knowing how you're going to mitigate them.
Yeah, keep an eye on these agents. You can have your autonomous agents running and doing business for you or helping out here and there, but keep an eye on them. That's what our advice.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Make sure they're doing what you expect them to do.
Yeah, exactly. And back to what was the other topic, like threats as a non-technical business, or if you...
Yeah, ever since AI became mainstream with the launch of ChatGPT, models have tended to hallucinate in their findings. I think it's getting better, but I experienced the other week when I was doing some research for an article that the results that an AI gave me, something made me go and check it from other sources because I didn't believe the results. So yeah, hallucination is still a risk. Inherent bias, they're still getting their information from the internet, and we all know the internet has bias. Your gender, your race type bias.
Yeah.
And you need to be aware of that, especially using it in decision making, for example, in the HR field.
You heard about the M&S and the co-op hack.
Yes.
And now you realize that you don't have anything.
Yeah. As either solo entrepreneur or a...
Two people.
Yeah, partnership, for example. You've got your brand new laptops. And really there's 5 or 6 things you can do to manage your cyber risk. And that is making sure you're managing your passwords properly. By that, I mean that you have a unique, complex password for every application, website you're using.
Which is a challenge.
Absolutely, yes, yeah, that is a challenge. So the way you do that is by using a password manager app. A good password manager app will generate complex passwords. At the moment, my passwords are 25 characters long. I've got no chance of ever remembering them. But the Password Manager app integrates with all my devices, laptop, tablet, phone, etc. And when I need to log in, it automatically fills in the credentials.
You need to remember only one.
You only need to, yeah.
Which can be shorter. Or...
So there's 2 ways of having complex passwords. One is having 25 character complex password, the normal construction, uppercase, lowercase, numbers and symbols. The other way is a password phrase, and your password manager will generate a password phrase for you. So for example, it could be things around you. So for instance, what have we got here? Chair, bin, window, separated by a hash or a dash, and maybe having one word in capitals. Your password manager will generate those, a passphrase for you. But since middle of last year, password technology has started to change and we've got Passkeys coming in. We've discussed those before, but very quickly that is encrypted text passed between you and whoever it is you're trying to sign in to. So it's, for instance, signing into your Microsoft 365, for example. It's like Microsoft having the...
Or Google Workspace.
Or Google, yeah, all the big tech are doing it. And I think probably at least once a week I'll go in to log into something and I'm prompted that a passkey is now available. So the rollout is becoming more rapid.
Yeah, which causes even more confusion because up to now you had only had to focus on passwords.
Yeah.
Which is a challenge for many people. I work with the younger generation, and as you leave a secondary school or university, it drives a little bit of organization in your life. So if you want to take it seriously, there is no other chance that you have to have a master password. You have to keep that thing clean, and password manager, as you said, which is a challenge itself. But
yes, can be. Yeah.
And if you're a business owner, you have to do the same accuracy like with taxes, accountancy, and then passwords, because this is the main entrance for the hackers.
Yes. So yes, if you look at the big hacks that have happened recently,
password related.
Yeah. So yes. So that it wasn't a hacker that was sitting looking at the network and finding a way in and then breaking into the systems. They did their homework on social media. They identified the administrators, did their homework on social media so that they had the knowledge that was required about these IT administrators, phoned up the company's help desks and said, it's Bryan, I need to reset my password. And because they'd done their homework, they had the information available, they were able to answer the security questions, and then once they were in, they could wreak havoc.
Yeah, that's why it's not enough to repeat how important, that.
Indeed. So, yes, don't share your passwords across applications. Don't
have a manager.
Have a password manager. wherever it's available. If you're offered a passkey, take a passkey. Passkey is the application or website you're trying to sign into. They're having a Yale lock on their front door, but the private key held, so that's called the public key, the private key held by you is your bespoke key, which will
your phone.
Which will undo your lock. Again, it will be shared across all your devices, and it normally relies on biometrics, so your fingerprint, your facial recognition, your iris recognition.
It's not flawless, so I experienced this in recent weeks that my face is not recognized and my passkey won't work. So I can just recommend people to be patient with these new passkey, the rollout, and this is a kind of temporary issues. And they're going to solve it, but this is for our interest to be more safe.
Indeed. No, and I agree, it's not flawless. I know people where her daughter was able to open the application because the daughter's face resembled enough the mother's face.
Yeah, okay.
So yes, there are instances where that happens. It's few and far between, and as you say,
twins maybe. There's a security risk.
Yes, these things will be solved.
Yeah.
So then, moving on, still access credentials, but wherever it's offered, please use two-factor, or sometimes called multi-factor authorization. And this is where you get a second password, which is normally a string of numbers. It has been very popular in the past to text them to you, but I would say use an app. Microsoft Authenticator, Google Authenticator.
It's free. So
they're free apps, and this second factor changes every 30 seconds. Which again, unless you give it away, is very difficult to hack.
Yeah, it's easy to use and very practical because your phone is next to you, so you can copy if you are on iCloud, and it copies automatically into your text password window, or just you just type in 1 second. And these companies like Microsoft, Google, they offer this for free because it's their interest that you are
absolutely
safe. If you are not safe and hackable, then their products are not. Your reputation is going down.
Yes, they're looking to keep their customers safe, but they're also looking to protect their own environment.
So it's a win-win
for them. Then the third thing, whether you are using a Windows PC, a Mac, Apple Mac, or a Linux operating system on your PC, please have an antivirus. Or as they're now
major providers, right?
Yes, I would have advised using a paid antivirus, or
as the built-in one in Windows.
There's Windows Defender.
Better than nothing.
It's better than nothing, but I would advise going for one of the paid-for offerings that are out there.
So just to clear it out, there are some antivirus, there are the firewalls. They all depend on each other. And
that's right. That's right. I was coming to that. So antivirus, you may see them referred to from now going forward as endpoint detection and response, because they are using AI to understand how you use your devices and how you need to be protected. And I say use a paid one because yes, there are many free ones that are available, but the technology in the free ones, understandably, is going to be 18 months, 2 years behind the technology in a paid for.
Yeah, and it's not even expensive.
No, that's right. That's right. Then make sure that your devices are configured to accept the monthly updates every month that come out, and if there is a really urgent vulnerability found, the tech providers will release an urgent update. Yes, they are annoying when you come in the morning and you switch on and you've got a multitude of updates to do, but most of these updates are security updates because vulnerabilities have been found.
Yeah, this is again the generation or maybe mindset shift
Yes.
needed to be done, because these big tech companies made you used to the smoothness of it. That you wake up, you switch on your phone, and everything runs smoothly. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you don't need authentication just the first time, and it can be a little bit annoying to live in a safe space, but then it's for your interest.
That's right. That's right. And my thought was gone, what I was going to say. But yes.
You wanted to say about the antivirus, the firewalls, the
yes.
configuration.
Yes. Yeah, make sure that your device firewall is enabled. In most cases, it would just be a matter of sliding the option to on, because the rules, the pre-configured rules by the manufacturer of the device are sufficient to provide protection for you.
And if you're non-technical, what can you do? Can you just call experts?
If you're non-technical, get somebody, yes, who knows what they're talking about, like yourself or me, to
remotely set up,
to have a look and make sure it's switched on, and make sure that the rules are going to provide you the protection that you need. And maybe you want to have certain rules tightened up even more, and that's entirely possible by somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that was number 5, firewall configuration. And finally, backup and backup again.
Yeah. 2 providers maybe
to
start with.
So many people think Microsoft backup, Google backup. Yes, they back up their data centers. They don't back up your individual account. So I would advise backing up all of your cloud services to a specialist backup service.
So if you are subscribing to Microsoft, the small business package, let's say, or Google Workspace, is it not enough?
No, because if you go to them and say, I need to access my backups, they'll say, sorry.
And I was hacked, let's say.
Yeah, so as I say, they don't back up individual accounts. If you've corrupted your massive Excel spreadsheet, for example, yes, there is a certain amount of version control in Microsoft documents.
Go back in time.
But if you need to go back even further than the version control provided, good luck, because Microsoft will be unlikely to be able to help you.
Yeah.
So if you've got it backed up to a specialist cloud backup service, number one, again, they're looking to protect their own environment. Yeah. So as your data is being backed up, they'll be scanning it to make sure there's no malware contained in your data being backed up. And if you get hacked, if your Microsoft account, your Google account, your Apple account, etc., there are other providers, gets hacked, they've got a clean backup for you.
Yeah. And these providers they work in the background, so you don't even notice?
You won't notice, and they'll be doing your backup probably overnight. But it's there should you need it. I can't count the number of clients we've got out of trouble because they have got a clean backup. And as you mentioned when you introduced the subject of backups, have a couple of backups, alternative providers. So maybe you pay a cloud backup service, but then maybe you back up your Microsoft to your Google, and vice versa, or maybe use another provider like Dropbox.
Yeah, and then you have your company data safe, which is invaluable. Your life's work.
Yes.
The spreadsheets of
is
incredible, valuable.
Yeah, indeed. Let's be honest about it. What we call the threat actors are after is your data.
And also because it's regulatory thing at some.
There's the regulatory thing. So you need to, if you're a limited company, you've got a duty to keep your data for at least 7 years.
Safe, yeah.
And safe, for example. But your data is the lifeblood of your company, is your crown jewels of your company. So exactly the same way that the crown jewels have multiple levels of security to keep them safe in the Tower of London.
Nice analogy, yeah.
You need to keep your data secure with multiple levels of security in your own Tower of London.
Yeah.
And because, let's be frank, the threat actors are after your data. Why are they after your data? Because they can make money from it.
Absolutely, yeah. They know that it's a jewel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame that it's not taught somehow in school or in business universities, that how you have to keep this safe, because it's the same important as new business generation. Everybody focuses on promotion, running ads online, and generate new business, profits and accountancy, but this is all overlooked.
Indeed, yes.
Somehow. It's understandable because it happened in the last 20 years or even last 10 years that it became.
Yeah, I mean, they're going off piste a bit. There's a lot of conversation at the moment that the education system globally doesn't teach you how to lead your life. And really, cybersecurity, both personal and in your business, is a life skill.
Yeah, it's a life skill. Yeah, and indeed, your private documents, your photos has to be behind these walls and has to be back up, because imagine losing your 20 years of photos of your families. For some people, it's a nightmare.
I think that's another good episode.